For coming to today's program. This morning, I was so happy to see our old friends, Jim and Catherine. They are here with us. Both of them, actually, they are still members, okay, of the temple, and they were so supportive for this program. So I remember them all the time. Finally, they are visiting in Houston, and they come to the temple and to see us. I appreciate that. I wish two of you can stay longer. And Justin, welcome back. We miss you. Yeah. Okay. And today, probably you noticed that I asked Barbara to hand out another new translation for today's talk. Last time I used Venerable Tinahan's translation on this sutra, the sutra on the 8 realizations. After I discovered there's another translation also coming from Venerable Tinahan's group. So probably that is a translation being modified, a little more detailed. So I feel compared with 2 translations, this one is better than last one. So let's use this one from today. And before we start, I would like to invite any one of you to read the first, second, third, and fourth paragraphs for us. That means we are going to read from the first realization, then second, then the third. Catherine, would you please read it for us?
The whole thing?
Just 3 paragraphs from the top, okay? Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wholeheartedly, day and night, a disciple of Buddha should recite and meditate on the 8 realizations discovered by the Mahasattva, the great demon. The first realization is the awareness that the world is impermanent. All political regimes, good.
Okay. Okay.
All things composed of 4 elements are empty and contain seeds of suffering. Human beings are composed of 5 skandhas, aggregates, and are without separate self. They are always in the process of change, constantly being born and constantly dying. They are empty of self, without sovereignty. The mind is the source of all confusion. The body is the forest of all impure actions. If we meditate on these facts, we can gradually be released from samsara, the round of birth and death. The second realization is the awareness that more desire brings more suffering. All hardships in daily life arise from grief and desire. Those with little desire and ambition can relax, their bodies and minds free from entanglement. The third realization is that the human mind is always searching for possessions and never feels fulfilled. This causes impure actions to ever increase. Bodhisattvas, however, always remember the principle of having few desires. They live a simple life in peace in order to practice the way and consider the realization of perfect understanding as their own career.
Thank you. Today, we are going to spend some time to study the second awareness, realizations, and the third realization. Basically, after we read these 2 realizations, we discover they relate to each other. The second one, the third one. Actually, we cannot completely separate these 2 realizations. So that's why today it's better for us to study these 2 realizations at one time. Basically, when we study these 2 realizations, it simply emphasizes on this concept. How can we properly manage our desires in daily life in order to live happily and peacefully with others? How can we manage our desires? Every one of us, including myself, we do have different kind of desires in daily life. In Buddhism, we don't say we have to completely eradicate all desires at one time as a human being. In the morning, I need to drink some water, some tea, in order to survive. Then I had breakfast. Also, if the temperature is cold, I need to wear some clothes. Some necessities, actually we need that. So when we talk about this subject, let's go back to the first realization. Basically, as a human being, as long as we have the attachment of self, when you feel there's a real self exist in this universe, it's going to automatically develop desires. The desire, how can I survive? How can I protect myself? How can I fulfill my needs? Sometimes desire is out of management, it's out of control. Some desires even against other people's desires. That's why we have fightings. I need this, you need this, then we are going to compete and fight with each other. So originally, we have to understand, because all human beings, before we liberate from the attachment of self, basically we do have desires. The first goal is, how can I survive? Yeah, sometimes just trying to find necessities in order to survive. Later, we develop more stronger desires. Then that desire may be it's going to create conflict with other people's desires. Then we have troubles, through some process. So we cannot live happily and peacefully with others all the time, because we have our own desires. Okay. Not long ago, a member of our temple, she sent me a videotape, maybe 20 minutes long tape from YouTube. Then I watched the tape from my cell phone. I discovered there was a tape recorded in a special place. A nun, a Caucasian nun, she was speaking to a lot of inmates in an auditorium. There are so many inmates listen to her. It was very interesting for me to listen to her. This nun, before she started to talk, she asked this question: do you happy? Do you feel you are happy right now? Then people hesitated. All the inmates was a little hesitated, because you are in a prison. How can you say I'm happy? Okay. And then she asked another question. Do you want to be happy tomorrow? People knock. It's easier to answer. The first question was not easy to answer. Are you happy? Are you happy? Sometimes it's mixed with all kinds of feelings. Yeah. But the second question, do you want to be happy tomorrow? Yes, yes, definitely. Nobody hesitated. So, deep in our hearts, every one of us, actually, we all wanted to be happy. We wanted to be a happy person. But somehow, the way we do to to fulfill our desires, maybe it's not right, it's not correct, it's going to harm others. So that's why those inmates were sentenced to the prison. I believe that all inmates, they had done something before to fulfill their desires. So they commit certain kind of a crime. Finally, they end up in jail. So after I watched the tape, I remember that maybe from time to time, let's ask ourselves, am I happy right now? Try to answer this question to yourself. Okay, sometimes it's difficult. Even myself, when I was still very young, maybe about 27, 28 years old. One time I went back to Taiwan. A young high school student, a young lady, she asked me this question: Venerable Hang Yi, do you feel happy in your life? It was difficult for me too, because it's mixed experiences. But definitely, we wanted to be happy tomorrow. This is our wish, our will. But how can we be happy? Sometimes people always feel, I have this desire. If I'm rich, I have more money, I will be happy. If I have a big house, I will be happy. If we check carefully, let's go to those places. People are moving to big houses. Are you happy? Sometimes happy for a few days. After we enjoy this big house for a few days, then roof was leaking. You have to do a lot of work to prepare the roof. I noticed that a member of our temple, they bought a house, what do you call it, a condominium, 3 stories house. After they moved in for not long, the roof was leaking. They couldn't fix it for so many years, until recently, finally they fixed it. After they fixed the roof, they decided to sell the house. So we are trying to fulfill our desires all the time. And can we really fulfill our desires? And even though when we get something we want, are we going to be happy at the moment? Sometimes, yes, sometimes no. Even after you have, what you want. Yesterday, I had a chance to watch another short video tape. Do you know one businessman in China, Ma Yun? Jack Ma. In the States, Jack Ma. He's kind of well known today, in China and also in the States. I didn't listen carefully about his talk at first, but suddenly I heard words. He said that when you have $2 million, you feel you are rich. Okay, but when you have $20 million, you have worries. You are afraid of the depreciation of your money. After you have the amount of money, you have another worry. So when we get something that we want, we may not be always happy all the time. That is the facts. And what are the desires we have to recognize? In Buddhism, traditionally, we put those desires into 5 categories. Okay, basically, it's a very traditional way. In Buddhism, we say, as a human being, you have the body. This body needs a lot of materials or something you wanted to use in order to satisfy yourself. For example, the first desire is images. pictures, something related with your eyes, something I wanted to see, something I enjoy to see, okay, or something I dislike. Okay, there's one desire from eyes. Another desire is something you want to hear. Oh, I enjoy this song, but the sound is awful. I don't like it. Yeah. Sometimes I feel it's very difficult for me to know that on the street, if you stop your car before in front of the red lights, suddenly another car next to you. The music was so loud, and many times I noticed that my vehicle was shaking, boom, 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 boom. I was curious. Do they have special ears for the kind of a sound? I don't understand. So people enjoy those kind of loud music, but I feel it's not. I don't understand why they wanted to have this kind of sound. And also something we wanted to smell. Something we feel, oh, it's very good. I wanted to have this kind of smell. Yeah. But it depends on different individuals' feeling. Venerable Jinghai, he doesn't like xiangchun, a kind of leaves. But myself, I like xiangchun. The kind of smell, I feel I enjoy it to eat it. But Venerable Jinghai say, no, he doesn't like that kind of smell. So it depends on your own feeling. Also, something we wanted to taste. This food is tasty. So sometimes people do use their taste, try to select food. Okay, something we wanted to touch. This cloth is more comfortable. It's light, and it's very comfortable. It's cool in the summertime. Okay, my bed is very comfortable, or sometimes it's not comfortable. So something we feel we wanted to touch. Those are 5 desires. Traditionally in Buddhism, we do describe 5 desires in this way. But in modern days, today we have another concept of 5 desires. Also, perhaps we can check on those desires. Do we attach to certain desires so strongly we cannot manage ourselves? Let's check on those desires. The first one is the desire on wealth. I wanted to earn more money. Okay, the desire that attached to wealth. Okay. The second one is the desire attached on lust, sexual activities, and sexual fulfillment. The desire attached on fames. I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be a movie star or a politician that I can be famous. With this kind of attachment, from time to time, people do attach with powers. Okay, when you become someone, you're famous, then at the same time, you feel it's important for me to have a power, to control others, to control my own environment. Yeah, I can do whatever I wanted to do. The attachment, the desire on food. And some people, they don't. They just eat, whatever they need, they don't attach to. But some people, they enjoy eating. And it's something even common people don't eat. Okay. Have you heard that people like to eat a certain kind of animals? Yeah. They wanted to develop their desire on taste. They wanted to taste this, taste that. Okay. And sometimes it's not very healthy. Also, sometimes it's not good for other creatures. Finally, the desire of sleep. Okay, and today, because of lights, we have lights. We can stay longer during the evening. We sleep late. Okay, some people they cannot sleep well, but in this desire, that mentioning some people they attach to sleep. They sleep day and night, and too much sleep is not good for the body. Yeah, so we have to manage our desires on those 5 attachments. And today, after we understand those 5 desires, traditional way or modern way, then I wanted to point out that in Buddhism, actually when we talk about those 5 desires, we encourage people properly manage themselves, to have a good attitude, manage those desires properly. Then desires won't cause trouble in your life. That is the I think the basic teaching of this sutra. It doesn't require us to completely eradicate all desires, like ancient some practitioners. They practice self-modification. Self-modification. They don't eat properly. They eat very little food. They drink very little water. They even don't sleep under the house, in the house. They stay under the tree. Sometimes they will soak their body in the water for a long, long time. They try to deny their body needs. Buddhism doesn't agree with this kind of practices. So that's why 2,500 years ago, when Shakyamuni Buddha went to the forest, studied with those, ascetics for about 6 years. And he tried to learn everything from them. So after some time, he was so skinny. If you see a statue of a Buddha, the statue show out his, bones, ribs. That is the statue that Buddha was in the forest practicing self-denial, meditation practices. After 6 years, Buddha discovered that denial all kinds of needs for the body is not the right way to practice. So finally, he left the forest and accepted a lady's offer. We believe that there was a congee rice soup cooked with milk, goat's milk. The lady saw Buddha was so tired, laying on the on the roadside. Then she offered something for the Buddha. Buddha accepted her offering and ate some rice soup in order to gain his energy back. But somehow, other 5 companions, 5 practitioners, they left Buddha, went to another place. They thought Buddha was lazy. Buddha was not strong enough to stay in this kind of a practice. So when I visit India, we went to the place where Buddha accepted the offering. I told myself, in those days, Buddha must be very wise, very determined. Positively understand the self-denial practice is not the right way. Otherwise, it was difficult for him to renounce this kind of a practice. So there must be very wise decision. Yeah, common practitioner couldn't do this because when everyone is thinking of the same way, you are the one thinking a different way. It was not easy. So today, as a Buddhist, I want you to know that for material satisfaction, in Buddhism, we do ask everyone to find a way properly manage your desire. It doesn't matter you are rich or poor. It doesn't matter in what condition. We have to find a way to manage our desires in order to take good care of ourselves so we can live happily and peacefully in daily life. Also today, the next very important subject is I wanted to introduce another teaching of Buddha. Every time when we talk desires, we think in negative way. Most of the time, we feel too much desire is not good. Yes, when we talk about those 5 desires, the desire of wealth, desire of lust, desire of fame, desire of food, and sleep. In Buddhism, we do consider those desires are impure desires. Impure, it means it's not always pure. It's mixed with negative consequence in it. So we call this impure desires. But at the same time, in Buddhism, we have another kind of desire. We call that pure desire, good desires. This is not my thought. Actually, if you check on Abhidhamma Kosa, check on this book, then there is a sentence teaching us that as a Buddhist, we have to cultivate our pure desires, cultivate our good desires. What is the definition of good desires? In this sentence, it means anything we do is not related with self-attachment. It's not related with anger. It's not related with greed. Okay? Then we call these pure desires. For example, today, I manage myself to be here with you. Why I'm here? I wanted to share the Dharma with you. I wanted to share Dharma with you. This is considered in a certain way, it's a desire. I hope I can be here with you. I hope, I wish, I wanted to say something to you and let's study the sutra together. So we can still call this a desire. So in Chinese translation, most of the time we do use yu as a negative way, negative way. But sometimes, even in Chinese translation, we add some words to this yu, 善法yu, good desire, pure desire. For example, today, someone who decided to go to a certain place, do some donation, help some needies, and help others. This also considered a desire, but this is good desire. So we have to cultivate and maintain those good desires in daily life. We cannot abandon this desire. So in Abhidhamma Kosa, it says anything that is related with pure motivation. It's not related with self-attachment. It's not related with anger or greed. It's not going to produce negative consequence. So this is good desire. You should not abandon this desire. This is the whole translation of the sentence from Abhidhamma Kosa. 中文是俱舍论 Abhidhamma Kosa. Okay. So today, when we talk about desires, I hope every one of us, we wanted to check what kind of desires that we have all the time. If we have pure desires, and remind yourself, let's continue to cultivate on this kind of way. Of course, if we discover I have negative desires, impure desires, then we have to reduce those desires to a certain amount so we can manage, we can control. I remember from 2001, right after we purchased the land of American Bodhi Center. For some years, maybe 3 years or 5 years, I was enjoying to go to Home Depot. What was the purpose? I wanted to buy tools because we need to trim bushes and trees. And suddenly I discovered I need to go to Home Depot to find out what kind of tools I can buy. So we can use it at the Bodhi Center to trim trees and cut bushes. After a year, shopping at Home Depot, then I discover I think about Home Depot all the time. Whenever I have a chance, today, do I have time to go to Home Depot? Yes, I do. Then I will drive the car to go to Home Depot. Sometimes I do have something in my mind, I need certain tools, at the Bodhi Center. Sometimes I just go look around. What are the new design for tools? Maybe I have some kind of new tools at Home Depot that I can purchase. So even from this small conduct, I finally ask myself, what tools do I need? Not what kind of tools that I want. Finally, I try to manage myself. Do we really need these tools at the Bodhi Center? Yes, we need it. Then I will buy it. If I just feel I'm curious, this is a new tool. How can I use it? Out of 好奇是什么? Curiosity. Out of the habit of shopping, I just wanted to buy more. Then I will stop. I will tell myself, no, today maybe I should not buy this too. So even buying tools, sometimes we wanted to carefully check, is this desire is controllable or not controllable? Yeah. And if everything is under control, you will be okay. If something is out of control, then we have to be careful on those desires. Okay, 2 desires. One is impure. Impure means it can be good, it can be bad. It can be good, it can be bad. Impure is not always pure. Just like the water, it's not pure. But after you feel it, then it can be it's drinkable. Okay, pure means it's completely pure. It's not going to produce any negative consequence. Okay. But how about today's talk? If during the talking or after the Dharma talk, if I still attach to myself, I wanted to gain fame, I wanted to be famous in Houston through this kind of a talk, so we still consider this is not completely pure. Even the conduct is good, but my mind is not pure. Okay, so sometimes we have to check, in this way also. And in sutra, especially in Agamaha Sutra, sometimes in sutras, we do introduce Buddha or Arahants in this way. Those liberated practitioners, teachers, they are desireless, no desires at all. When we describe Arahants, they are no desires. That means when they face those 5 desires, they don't have any attachment at all. This is a kind of mental stage. Even they are eating and they're using something, but there's no desires at all. So in Agama Sutra, it says that Buddha is always practice no desires. Even he lives in a palace, we consider Buddha is no desires. Even in very luxury places, he does not have any desires. So that means he's completely liberated from attachment of desires, but he's still living in the normal way. Whenever people offer him food, he's going to eat. When the weather is cold, he's going to still keeping his robes for his own use. And today, if Buddha is in Houston, if we drive the car, he's going to ride on the car with us. If you have a Mercedes-Benz, he's going to ride Mercedes-Benz. Buddha won't say, oh, I wanted to practice desire less, little desire, so I don't ride Mercedes-Benz. Some people, they own Mercedes-Benz. If you drive a Buddha, he's going to sit in it. Yeah. But we consider Buddha still no desire because there's no attachment of desires. So this is another way. Sometimes you will see no desires. That is the stage of liberation and the stage of arahanthood, the stage of a Buddha. But for us, we still have a certain kind of attachment. So today we ask everyone that we wanted to practice little or few desires, not strong desires on something that we cannot control. Okay, finally, I wanted to use a few minutes to share something I wanted to talk and invite you to think. How can we manage ourselves in all kinds of environment in order to be happy and live peacefully with others, enjoy your life all the time? How can we do that? Yeah, how can we do that? Yeah. Each individual, from time to time, we do face different kind of changes. Yeah, yeah. I think according to this sutra, it says that it doesn't matter we are poor or rich. It doesn't matter we are in what condition. We always have to remember, cultivate our right understanding is the most important thing in our life. Do you remember that the third realization? Bodhisattvas, however, always remember the principle of having few desires. They live a simple life in peace in order to practice the way and consider the realization of a perfect understanding as their only career. Okay, I feel this is a very important teaching for us. No matter what kind of condition we have, we may be poor, we may be rich. It doesn't matter. The most important thing is we need to find a way to cultivate our right understanding. If we have a right understanding, even materially we are poor, we can improve our lives. So that's why we educate people. How to take care of yourself. How to use your skill in order to do something, to earn your living. So cultivating wisdom, right understanding is going to help anyone who's in poor condition. It's going to help them to better their life. How about people who has good wealth, who's very rich? Rich people still need to have a right understanding. Rich people need wisdom in order to manage their wealth. How can I manage my wealth? It does require skill. If we don't have right understanding, if we don't have wisdom, the more we reach, maybe the more problem we are going to accumulate. Sometimes, without wisdom, even some people are rich, it's not good for them. So rich people still need wisdom. Okay? So this is one important teaching from this sutra. Second one is, the second thought in my mind. Sometimes we move to different areas. Sometimes our lifestyle may not be always be able to maintain in the same way. For example, you are going to Bodhi Center. At your home, you have one bedroom for yourself. You can stay in this room by yourself. Okay, you use the space by yourself. Nobody is going to be next to you. How about you go to Bodhi Center, you have to live someone else. Okay, maybe one or two, maybe three. How can we adjust ourselves when environment is changed? Yeah. When environment is changed, can we still be able to manage our desire? Instead of thinking, I need to have one room for myself, right now the reality is not in this way. How can I adjust myself? So in Chinese, we have a saying that it's better for us to be able to be flexible in different conditions. 随遇而安.
What's in Rome, do as Rome must do.
Pardon?
What's in Rome, do as Rome must do. They have similar saying in English.
Oh, okay.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Oh, okay. Okay. I remember a few years ago, I went to Burma, Myanmar, and I stayed at my aunt's nunnery in a very remote area. After I arrived at the place, the temple, I discovered my bedroom was in this area, on the second floor of this building. And the restroom is on another corner of another location. In between, there's a Buddha hall, the grand hall, and also the kitchen and the female's room on the other side. Only one restroom. And I checked the time. How many minutes do I need to walk to the restroom from my bedroom? If I don't run, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So I told myself, in the States, I can go to a restroom right away whenever I want. Okay? It's next to you. It's close to you. Over there, I have to prepare myself for 5 minutes in order to use the restroom. So I adjust myself mentally. I accept this reality. But somehow, when I think about the night, during the evening, how about if I wake up in the evening, I need to go to a restroom, what should I do? Also, in the mountain, the night temperature was very chilly. It's not that warm in a high mountain. And I have to use a flashlight to find a way. No electricity power. Yeah. So I was a little worried. How about during the evening? What should I do? When I was thinking on this kind of a problem, a young family member, he was very clever. He offered me a bucket. He said, Venerable Han Yi, in the evening, whenever you need to go to restroom, now you have a bucket in your own room. That will save your time. And also you don't have to go out and leave your room. I was very satisfied because in those areas, you have a bucket to use. You should be happy. Yeah, and you can use it anytime you need. Okay, so sometimes we have to adjust the kind of attitude, the habits we build up in daily life. And so this is something I wanted to mention. Be able to be flexible. Be able to adjust yourself in all kinds of conditions. Living in America, when you go to some other places, having this kind of awareness is going to help us. And also we can develop a certain kind of ability. Oh, I can survive in all kinds of environment. I don't depend on certain convenience or materials in order to survive. Finally, how can we live happily and peacefully in daily life? I feel as a Buddhist, all people, we should establish a kind of attitude. Be appreciate to others, to people around us. Be appreciate. Appreciation is a way to make you feel I'm very easy to, fulfilled, to enjoy my life, in all kinds of environment. And when I see people, I always think about how others do their best to, support us. Yeah. For example, today when I came to this area, I thought about a young lady. She's busy outside right now. She's doing something for the temple. And we have a very old sprinkler system. Nowadays it's not working at all. We have to lay new pipes and replace a lot of heads for the system. She's the one who's doing the job for the temple as a volunteer. Sometimes she even donates her money to this kind of work. We have to show our appreciation to her. If we appreciate, what we have, what we get, it's going to have a kind of feeling, oh, I'm happy, I enjoyed, and in this kind of environment. When you see people around you, you feel we are all friends. Okay? If we always check on some small desires that we cannot fulfill, of course, even small desire is going to create a lot of trouble, a lot of conflict. Right after this temple being built, I think the first year, we had a 7 days retreat at the temple. In the temple, we even still don't have enough beds for everyone. But we did reserve a bunk bed for a member. But the bunk bed means you have upper layer, the lower layer. We reserve upper layer for a member because she's younger. Another lady, she's older. Older person should stay in a low level. Younger member should climb a little higher to the top. But somehow, after she noticed that she being assigned to the upper level of the bunk bed, she was not satisfied at all. She was so angry. She was not appreciated for this kind of arrangement. Other people stay in a library, stay in a meeting room, stay in a school, on the floor. We reserve a bunk bed for her, but she's not satisfied. Because in her mind, she's thinking she's special. She needs to have a better treatment at the temple. Be careful. Sometimes we are coming for a retreat to eradicate our anger, our greed, eradicate our self-attachment. Somehow, because we are not satisfied with where we sleep, then we produce a lot of negative karmas. Okay. Small desire, out of control, is going to produce anger. And do something is not good for yourself, also not good for others. And today, this is my talk. And I hope every one of us, we wanted to check out on our own desires. For impure desires, we wanted to find a way how to manage those desires. For pure desires, we need to cultivate those desires. Okay, and also we understand that in daily life there are three attitudes we need to cultivate. One is cultivate wisdom. It doesn't matter what kind of condition we have, because wisdom is a way to eradicate all kinds of negative karmas. And also, we wanted to be able to be flexible in all conditions. And finally, we wanted to have appreciation attitude toward others.